Good morning, all of you. Today we will discuss the environmental economics and demography. This is our part 4. So, last 3 lectures we have discussed the environment as a public goods and the market failure, how the cost. Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss the environmental economics and demography. The last 3 parts we have discussed the environment as a public goods, market failure, cause theorem, the cost benefit analysis and the compensation criteria of it. Then last lecture we have discussed the theories of population which is given by Malthus, and now we have discussed the concept and measures of fertility, morbidity and mortality. So, what is meant by the fertility, mortality, and morbidity? Now we have discussed the concept and then we have to discuss the measurement of it. सो ज्यावेळी आपण फर्टिलिटी म्हणतो तर फर्टिलिटीला प्रजनन क्षमता किंवा मॉर्बिडिटी म्हणजे विकृती आणि मोर्टॅलिटी म्हणजे मृत्यूदर. सो फर्टिलिटी इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड द फेकंडिटी, प्रगल्भता or the ability to produce, that is the fertility. Then the morbidity is it is based on the disease, age and gender. WHO, that is World Health Organization, gives the data or statistics of the morbidity. What is meant by the morbidity? The condition of suffering from disease, that is the morbidity. Then the last concept is mortality. Mortality, it means the death rate or the fatality rate. So the frequency of the death in the population means the mortality. So we will discuss this one by one. Firstly, the measures of fertility, fecundity, the ability to produce. In this, we have to discuss the various types of rate, in that crude birth rate, general fertility rate, general marital fertility rate, that is stand for GMFR. Then ASFR, that is the age specific fertility rate. Then the total fertility rate, TFR, gross reproduction rate, GRR, and last one is the net reproduction rate. So how and what is the objectives to measure the fertility rate? They will be able to compute the difference indices of fertility. We have to know the indices of particular fertility. They will be able to spell out the general determinant of fertility. We know that how the general determinant of the fertility is. They will able to spell out the usefulness of the fertility indicators. What is the usefulness of the fertility indicator regarding the economic growth and regarding the demography? So now we have to discuss what is meant by the fecundity, what is meant by the fertility, etc. So the basic concept of the fecundity is the physiological capacity of the woman to reproduce. That is the fecundity. The physiological capacity of the woman to reproduce. And what is meant by the fertility? This particularly both the concepts are comes under the demography concept. So in the demography, it is the actual birth performance of the group of women or the relative frequency with which the birth occurs in a total population or in the population exposed to it. This is the result of fecundity. So we have to discuss what the importance of to measure the fertility. The importance of measure the fertility is the fertility behavior of a given time gives the shape to future age sex ratio. We have to know what is the census of particular thing and what is the rate of the particular fertility behavior. We can know it. Hence, studying the fertility behavior has the implication on the overall welfare of planning process and produce the alternations in the size of population. So, these are some importance of the fertility measure. So, measuring the fertility. When we measure the fertility, which sources are available to measurement or the to provide the data of the fertility? There are three sources in that: registration of the vital event. Next one is sample registration system, that is SRS. And last one is the National Family Health Survey. We can see the SRS, NFHS, that is National Family Health Survey. We can get the data from it. So these are the three sources of the data. It means we can know the data of fertility measurement from these three. Then the uses of measurement of the fertility. What is the use to measure the fertility rate? Quantify the birth performance of the population over the period of time. It used to compare the fertility. Means we have to compare the fertility in the particular world, the particular country, or in the particular state wise. We can compare the fertility levels. Then this is used to compare the fertility level of a number of population during the particular time interval. Exhibit a time trend in the fertility in a population in the study of differentiate fertility or differential fertility by the various socio-economic, racial, and the ethnic groups. It means we have to differentiate the fertility, we have to compare the fertility, quantify the birth performance. These are some uses of the measurement of fertility. So while we measure the fertility, which formulas are used it? So in the if we discuss or if you see the previous year question paper, there may be maybe the all formulas like crude birth rate and etc are asked randomly. So you have to recall the formula. Ratio of the total number of the live birth to average population every live or lived during a given year and a geographical area. What is meant by the crude birth rate? The ratio of total number of live birth to the average population every lived during a given year and geographical area. म्हणजे एका भौगोलिक एरियाच्या अंतर्गत त्याला एक टाइम पिरियड कन्सिडर केलेला आहे, तो 1 वर्षाचा. त्याच्यामध्ये जे काही जन्मदर आहे, तर जन्मदर आणि जे पॉप्युलेशन आहे म्हणजे जन्माला येणारे बालके आणि एकूण लोकसंख्या, तर यांचं गुणोत्तर म्हणजे क्रूड बर्थ रेट. दॅट इज द बी डिवायडेड बाय पी into 1000, where the B is the total number of new birth in a given year and geographical area, and P means the mid-year population of the year. That is, the crude birth rate is equal to B by P into 1000. So what is the merit of to measure the fertility rate? Require the minimum data on fertility. Easy to interpret. If we interpret the particular fertility data, then this data is very easy to interpret because of the measurement of fertility. So what are the demerits of it? Cannot be used to compare the level of fertility for any two populations. They cannot compare the any two populations birth rate or fertility rate, because they may differ widely their age sex composition. It is not a fertility rate as include all the population either exposed or not exposed to the risk of childbearing. So these are some demerits of the fertility. So while we measuring the fertility rate, it is the simple measure of fertility, which crude birth rate, defined as a number of birth per year per 1000 mid-year women of the childbearing ages. GFR, you have to know the formulas of every rate. So GFR is equal to B divided by W divided by W into 1000. That is, W stand for what? The age group 15 to 49. That is the reproductive rate of the particular woman. So birth divided by woman who is in the age group of 15 to 49 into 1000. So W means woman 59 to 49, 15 to 49. That is the total number of women of the childbearing age, that is 15 to 49, at the midpoint of the year in the given geographical area. So what are the advantages of GFR? The advantages of GFR is it includes the female population in their reproductive ages who are supposed to be exposed to risk of the given birth. Generally, it is used in the population projection using the component of projection method. The overall measure of the fertility of married women, it is a number of birth per year per 1000 mid-year, the married woman within the reproductive ages, means the age 15 to 49. Symbolically, GMFR, first we have to see the crude birth rate, then GFR, now GMFR. What is meant by the GMFR? The formula is birth divided by the woman who is married and the age group is 15 to 49 into 1000. So the total number of married women of a childbearing age 15 to 49 at the midpoint of the year, that is the GMFR rate. The age pattern of the childbearing any population is the best revelation or revealed by the computing age specific fertility rate. It is the number of birth per year per woman in a given age group, in a given year and a given geographical area. That is the ASFR. N of X, NFX. What is N? N is number, F is frequency and X is particular number. So the ASFR formula is the NBX divided by W. What is meant by the NBX? The number of birth to the woman of the ages X to X plus N years in a given year and area. And what is meant by the NWX? NWX is the number of women aged X and X plus N year at the mid-year in a given year and area. N is usually taken as 5 years. So number of year is usually 5 years, B for birth rate and W for woman. So while measuring the fertility rate, we have to know these type of all formulas. The measured ratio of the number of birth as per the year in a given age group to the total number of married women in that age group is mid-year. What is meant by the mid-year? The measures as the ratio of number of the births per year in a given age to the total number of married women in that age group as the at mid-year. So ASMFR is the NGX is equal to NBX divided by the number of women who is married is equal to NFX, that is the number of women, F is frequency, X is the total number, and the NMX. What is meant by the NWM or X? That is the number of women aged X to X plus N years at the mid-year in a given year and area. NBX is the number of birth in a year to a married woman of a age X to X plus N year in a given years and the area MX in a given area. And last one is NMX, that is the proportion of married divided by X plus N, that is the proportion of married women at the ages X2. So this is the formula of ASMFR. So overall, the summary of the measure of marital fertility obtained by summing the age specific marital fertility, the rate for age of the childbearing span, that is TMFR. Phi into summation X, phi GX. Summation is equal to 15, 20, 20.25, 40, etc. This is the age group X. In the case N is a number of year, that is 5. So the number of children which a woman of hypothetical cohort would bear during her lifetime if she were to bear the child throughout her life. The age of specific fertility rate, which is the specific fertility age, that is 15 to 49 rates for a given year, and if none of them deceased before crossing the age of reproduction. TFR, that is the total fertility rate. Phi, that is N into summation X, F of X. That is summation means the total of particular. Summation म्हणजे कुठल्याही सपोज जर नंबर दिले, एज ग्रुप दिला, तर त्या सगळ्यांची बेरीज म्हणजे समेशन किंवा त्याला आपण ऍडिशन म्हणतो. Phi is the year and here X is the total. So it indicates the GRR. It indicates the number of daughters of a hypothetical cohort of a woman by the end of the reproductive life if she bears a birth according to a given schedule of the age-specific fertility rates, taking only female birth, not male birth, without experiencing any mortality till the end of reproductive life. So what is the formula of GRR? That is the phi summation x phi b of f x divided by w. That is phi is the year, b is birth rate, f is the frequency and x is the total, w for woman. So GRR is equal to f of b divided by b. Means b means total birth rate and f of b means the frequency of the birth rate into TFR. TFR is the total fertility rate. So the number of female birth and the total number of birth. So the number of female birth frequency and the total number of birth, that is the ZRR. And NRR is the GRR adjusted for the mortality schedule of the cohort of women. The number of daughters that would be born to a cohort of the woman during their lifetime in their experience, if they experience a fixed schedule of ASFR and ASMR. Therefore, the NRR is equal to phi summation x is equal to 15 NBX divided by phi WX. Every is the into phi second x. So, what is the formula of that? This is the pi x is the survival rate of the particular childbirth. So the mean size of the cohort of mean means this average rate. So mean size of the cohort of the woman of age x to x plus phi initial divided by the initial size of the cohort. So we have to discuss all the measurement. These are some abbreviations which is very important for. So lastly we have discussed the NRR, that is the net reproduction rate. GRR for gross reproduction rate. ग्रॉस रिप्रोडक्शन रेट ज्यावेळी म्हणतो म्हणजे एखादी गोष्ट जर ग्रॉस असेल तर ग्रॉस मधून ज्यावेळी आपण डिप्रिसिएशन वजा करतो, इथे डिप्रिसिएशन म्हणजे डेथ रेट असेल, तो जर आपण ज्यावेळी तिथून मायनस केला तर आपल्याला नेट रिप्रोडक्शन रेट मिळतो. द टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट मीन्स द रेट विच इज ग्रॉस अँड विच इज net also. So net means gross, net plus gross is total fertility rate. So another one is the replacement level of fertility. What is the replacement level of fertility? The woman replace with their offsprings. This is the level of fertility that gives the NRR is equal to 1. What is NRR? Net reproduction rate or reproductive rate. Generally, it takes the values, the total fertility rate of the level 2.1 children per woman in a population. It is precondition for population stabilization, the process to achieve the zero growth of population. Stabilization म्हणजे पॉप्युलेशन ही इन्क्रीज झाली नाही पाहिजे किंवा डिक्रीज झाली नाही पाहिजे, ती एका स्तरावर स्थिरीकरण झालं पाहिजे. दॅट इज द प्रिकंडिशन फॉर द पॉप्युलेशन स्टॅबिलायझेशन. सो द चिल्ड्रन सर्वायव्हिंग, दॅट इज CS. What is mean by the children surviving? The total number of children which a woman has born as live birth or live birth and they are still live. What is mean by the CS? The total number of children which a woman has born as the live birth and they are still live. म्हणजे जन्माला आल्या जे मुलं जगलेले आहेत आणि आतापर्यंत ते जगलेलेच आहेत, दॅट इज म्हणजे त्याच्यामध्ये कुठल्याच प्रकारचा डेथ रेट नाही, दॅट इज द चिल्ड्रन सर्वायव्हिंग. द चिल्ड्रन इव्हर बॉर्न, दॅट इज EB. It is a cohort measure. It is the total number of children a woman has born till the death. So also include So we have to discuss the fertility rate. Fertility means the fecundity and the ability to produce. In that we have see the NNR or NRR, then the fertility rate, crude rate, etc. Now we have to discuss the measure of fertility. In that, the children surviving. What is meant by the children surviving? The total number of children which a woman has born as a live birth and they are still live. Next is a children ever born, that is CEB. It is the cohort measure. It is the total number of children a woman has born till the death. Also include those children which a woman has born as live birth but they are died at any. This is the CEB, children ever born. And parity means the number of birth of a woman has given. So this is how the net production rate, this is the total statistic of the fertility. What is the statistic? From 0 to the age group 17 plus. In India, here the this statistic is according to census 2011, the male population and the death rate of the male, the female population and the death rate of the female, and the birth, male birth and female birth. So when we discuss the male birth is always greater than the female birth in the scenario of the particular Indian census. So now the measurement of morbidity. Morbidity, it is based on the disease or diseases, ages and gender. This is the condition of suffering from disease, and the data which is the morbidity data, WHO gives the statistic of the morbidity data. WHO, that is World Health Organization. So what is meant by the measurement of morbidity? Any departure or subjective or objective from a state of physiological well-being. The sickness, illness, disability is under the morbidity. Morbidityला आपण म्हणतो की विकृती. मग त्याच्या अंडर सिकनेस असेल किंवा इलनेस असेल किंवा डिसॅबिलिटी असतील, कुठले रोग असतील किंवा जेंडर रिलेटेड डिसॅबिलिटी असेल, that is comes under the morbidity. So what are the measures or major units of the morbidity? There are three measures or major units of the morbidity. In that, frequency, under the frequency, the incident and prevalence are there. Prevalence means prasar, that is the probability to having a disease, that is prevalence, duration, disability rate, and severity, that is the case of fatality rate. So these are some three measures in the units: frequency, duration, and severity. So what are the uses of the morbidity data? The uses of morbidity data is describe the disease load in the community and assist in the establishment of a priorities. What? Describe the disease load in the community and assist in the establishment of the priorities. Provide more comprehensive, accurate, and clinically relevant data essential for basic research. And last one, to monitoring monitoring and evolution of the disease, control the prevention activities. सो मॉर्बिडिटी म्हणजे विकृती ज्यावेळी आपल्याला त्याचे यूज काय आहेत किंवा हा डाटा आपल्याला कशासाठी कलेक्ट करायचा आहे, म्हणजे कुठल्या गोष्टीला जास्त प्रायोरिटी द्यायला पाहिजे किंवा हेल्थ सेक्टरला किती प्रायोरिटी द्यायला पाहिजे हे या डाट्यावरून आपल्याला लक्षात येतं. किंवा याचं ऍक्युरेट जे काही कॉम्प्रिहेन्शन आहे तर ऍक्युरेट कॉम्प्रिहेन्शन आपल्याला याच्यावरून लक्षात येतं. किंवा जे काही मूल्यांकन आहे तर मूल्यांकन करण्यासाठी किंवा डिसीज कंट्रोल करण्यासाठी त्याच्या अगोदर काही आपल्याला प्रिव्हेन्शन ऍक्टिव्हिटीज राबवल्या पाहिजेत का, फॉर एक्झाम्पल वॅक्सिनेशन वगैरे असेल, तर या सगळ्यांसाठी आपल्याला मॉर्बिडिटी डाटा हा फार इम्पॉर्टंट असतो. सो इन्सिडन्स, व्हॉट इज मीन बाय द इन्सिडन्स? The number of new cases occurring in a defined population during a specific period of time. The number of new cases occurring in a defined population during a specific time. What is the incident rate? The number of new cases of the specific disease during a given period of time divided by the population at risk during that period into 1000. Which are the, for example, we can take the 500 cases and the risk during the population period is 30,000. Then when we calculate the incident rate, that is 500 divided by 30,000 into 1000, that is the 16.7 per 1000 per year. So the incident rate is 16.7 per 1000 per year. सो आपल्याला बेसिकली एक्झामच्या दृष्टिकोनातून जे काही रेट आहेत त्याचे फॉर्म्युले किंवा आजकालचा ट्रेंड असा आहे की तुम्हाला फॉर्म्युले न देता फक्त कॅल्क्युलेशन विचारले जात आहेत, मग ते कॅल्क्युलेशन आपल्याला जमलं पाहिजे. सो कॅल्क्युलेशन विचारले किंवा आपल्याला फक्त IR हा काउंट करा म्हटलं तर आपल्याला लक्षात आलं पाहिजे की IR ज्यावेळी आपण काउंट करणार आहात किंवा मेजर करणार आहात त्यावेळी त्याचा फॉर्म्युला काय आहे. सो इन्सिडेंट रेट रेफर्स ओनली द न्यू केसेस व्हेन द न्यू केसेस ऑफ द मॉर्बिडिटी रेट इज during a given period of time. That means we have to calculate it in a usually in a 1 year, and population at risk, that is the division purpose, and new spells or episodes of the disease in the given period of time per 1000 population. This is the calculation of incident rate. The special incident rates, that is SIR. The attack rate. What is meant by the attack rate? The number of new cases of the disease during a specific time of period divided by total population at risk during the same period into 100. It is the percentage of the population at risk getting the disease. That is the attack rate. Another one, the secondary attack rate, the number of exposed person developing the disease within the range of the incubation period following exposure of the primary case. For example, in a family of 6 person consistent of 2 parents and 4 children susceptible to chickenpox, one child developed chickenpox, and after some time, 2 children develop among there. The SAR, that is the secondary attack rate, 2/3 in 2000 is equal to 66%. म्हणजे एखाद्या फॅमिलीमध्ये जर 6 मेंबरची फॅमिली असेल आणि त्याच्यामध्ये जर आपण काय म्हणतो की संसर्गजन्य रोग असतील तर अगोदर 2 जणांना होतील, नंतर मग त्याचा संसर्ग होईल आणि मग त्याचा जो काही रेट आहे सेकंडरी तर तो वाढणार आहे. दॅट इज द मोर्बॅलिटी incident rate. What is the uses of the incidence rate? The useful for taking the action to control the disease. For example, if we have to control the disease, the incident rate regarding that is the prevention of control the disease. For example, vaccination. For research into etiology and the pathogenesis, distribution of the diseases, efficiency of preventing and therapeutic measure. Prevalence means the probability to having a disease, ज्याला आपण प्रसार म्हणतो की प्रसार किती प्रमाणामध्ये कुठल्या भागामध्ये झालेला आहे डिसीजचा. ऑन current cases means the old case and new case existing all the given point of time or over a period of time in a given population. That is the prevalence. What is the definition of prevalence? The total number of all individuals who having an attribute or disease at a particular time divided by the population at risk having an attribute or disease at the point of time or midday through the period. सो डिसीज आपण कशाला म्हणतो की जे काही ठरवलेले तुम्ही पॉप्युलेशन आहेत किंवा इंडिव्हिज्युअल आहेत आणि त्याला पॉप्युलेशन रिस्कने ज्यावेळी तुम्ही डिवाइड कराल तर त्यावेळी आपल्याला प्रिव्हिलन्स मिळतो. प्रिव्हिलन्स म्हणजे प्रसार किती जणांना झालेला आहे ते आपण पाहू शकतो. दॅट दे आर 2 टाइप्स मीन्स द प्रिव्हिलन्स आर 2 टाइप्स इन दॅट पॉइंट प्रिव्हिलन्स अँड पिरियड प्रिव्हिलन्स. द पॉइंट प्रिव्हिलन्स इज द नंबर ऑफ करंट cases of the disease at one point in a time in relation to defined population. Means the formula that the number of all current cases of the specific disease existing at a given time period divided by estimated population at the same point of time into 100. That is the point prevalence. Point prevalence means the number of all current cases, specific disease existing at a given period of time is into 100 and it divided by estimated population at the same point of time. Another one is the period prevalence. Period prevalence means the number of all current cases existing during a defined period of time expressed in relation to defined population. So the formula of that is the number of existing cases of a specific disease during a given period of time interval. It is divided by the estimated mid-interval population at risk into 100. So the relation between the incidence and prevalence. What is the relation between the incidence and prevalence? म्हणजे एखादा डिसीज तुम्हाला होणार आहे त्याच्या अगोदर एखादी घटना घडते आणि त्याचा प्रसार कशा पद्धतीने होता तो या पिक्चर मधून आपण बघणार आहोत. सो द इन्सिडन्स इज स्मॉल स्केल, इट मीन्स द लो मेजर and the prevalence is here and lastly show the death cures. मीन्स एखादा जी काही घटना आहे तर ती घटना थोड्या प्रमाणात होत जाते किंवा मग त्याचा प्रसार थोडा होतो आणि प्रसार एका पॉइंट ऑफ टाइमला प्रसार इतका जास्त होतो की मग त्याचा परिणाम आपल्याला डेथ क्युअर मध्ये होतो. फॉर एक्झाम्पल आपण कोविड कालखंड बघितला असेल की पहिल्यांदा 1-2 अशा पद्धतीने रुग्ण आढळून आले पण त्याचा प्रसार काही कालांतराने किंवा एका वर्षभरात एवढा झाला की मग डेथ रेट वाढत गेला. दॅट इज द relationship between the incidence and prevalence. So P mean prevalence is equal to I into D. Prevalence is equal to incidence into mean duration. So incidence is equal to P by D, that is prevalence divided by the mean duration, and the duration means the P by I. This is the formula to calculate the incidence, to calculate the prevalence, and calculate the duration. So, which factors are influencing the prevalence rate? So, these are some factors which are influencing the prevalence rate: longer duration of the disease, prolongation of the life without cure, increase in new cases, out migration of the non-diseased people, the people who have not disease, but the out migration is to be comes under the disease control. So in the migration of stable or the diseased people, improve the diagnostic or reporting. These are some factors influencing the prevalence rate. So while we measure the mortality, it is include the all types of rates, that is crude death rate, specific death rate, case fatality rate, proportional mortality rate, survival rate, and adjusted rate. So now the mortality rate. So what is meant by the mortality? Mortality means death rate or the fatality rate. Fatality rate, mortality rate. What is the definition of that? The frequency of death in a population. The number of people per thousand who die in a particular area during a particular period of time. That is mortality rate, ज्याला आपण मृत्यू दर म्हणतो. सो इन दॅट जर आपण करंटचा डाटा विचार केला तर करंट इन्फंट मोर्टॅलिटी रेट हा 26.619 डेथ पर 1000 लाईव्ह बर्थ असा आहे, म्हणजे 26.619. द क्रूड डेथ रेट, द नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स फ्रॉम ऑल द कॉजेस per 1000 estimated mid-air population in a given place. So the formula of that particular measurement of the mortality rate is number of death during the year divided by the mid-year population into 1000. That is crude death rate. The summaries population composition and this are the specific death rates. Lack comparability if the population differ in age composition. So this is the formula of crude death rate. Now this is the statistic of the death rate. The population, we can consider the A and B CDR, that is the crude death rate. SDR as per the 1000 population, here the 0 to 1 and 60 plus the age group is there, and now these are some statistics. So specific death rate, the specific death rate is the permits comparison between two groups. Here the two groups are there, that is A group and B group. So the specific death rate, the permit the comparison between the two groups population, number of deaths in a group of during a year divided by mid-year population into 1000. Number of deaths in a group of during a year divided by mid-year population into 1000. Age specific death rate, diseases specific death rate. So the age specific death rate is the specific death rate in the age group 15 to 20 years. That is the ASDR. The number of death in age group 15 to 20 years during the year, and mid-year population into 1000. Another one is the diseases or disease specific death rate. The specific death rate due to the tuberculosis. Tuberculosis means ज्याला आपण TBS म्हणतो किंवा क्षयरोग. The number of death due to the tuberculosis during the year divided by mid-year population into 1000. So these are the rates. आतापर्यंत आपण मेजरमेंट अँड कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ फर्टॅलिटी, मॉर्बिलिटी आणि मोर्टॅलिटी बघितलं. फर्टॅलिटी म्हणजे काय आहे तर फर्टॅलिटी मीन्स द ॲबिलिटी टू प्रोड्यूस. Morbidity means it is based on the disease, age and gender. Morbidity means the condition of suffering from diseases. Morbidity म्हणजे एक विकृती असते की अशी कंडिशन की आपण एखाद्या डिसीज पासून सफर करत असतो. आणि मोर्टॅलिटी ज्याला आपण डेथ रेट म्हणतो किंवा मृत्यूचा दर म्हणतो, त्याला काय म्हणतो की द फ्रिक्वेन्सी ऑफ डेथ इन अ पॉप्युलेशन. व्हॉट इज द फ्रिक्वेन्सी ऑफ डेथ as per the 1000 people who die in a particular area during a particular period of time. That is the concept of fertility, morbidity and mortality. ज्यावेळी आपण आतापर्यंत जे काही कॉन्सेप्ट आणि मेजरमेंट बघितलेलं आहे त्याच्यामध्ये पहिल्यांदा तुम्ही कॉन्सेप्ट समजून घ्या. म्हणजे तुम्ही की फर्टॅलिटी म्हणजे काय आहे, त्याची डेफिनेशन काय आहे, मेन कॉन्सेप्ट. आणि दुसरं की 1000 पीपलच्या पाठीमागे हा रेट चालू आहे की 100च्या पाठीमागे, याची कॉन्सेप्ट समजणं गरजेचं आहे. आणि नंतर त्याच्यामध्ये फॉर्म्युले तुम्हाला माहिती असायला हवेत, कारण मोस्टली फॉर्म्युले हे विचारले जातात किंवा त्या फॉर्म्युल्यावरून तुम्हाला कॅल्क्युलेट करायला लावलं जातं, त्यामुळे हे लक्षात असणं गरजेचं. Then now the age structure. Age structure is called the population structure. Age structure and demographic dividend. So the age structure means the population structure means the makeup or the composition of the population. Looking at the population structure of a place shows how the population is divided up between the males and females of different age group. एज स्ट्रक्चर कशाला म्हणतो की आपण जी काही लोकसंख्या आहे तर ती वेगळ्या वेगळ्या एज ग्रुप मध्ये कशा पद्धतीने डिवाइड केलेली आहे, किंवा ती वेगवेगळ्या फॉर एक्झाम्पल 0 to 6 असेल किंवा मग 15 to 49 असेल, तर या डिफरंट एज ग्रुप मध्ये पॉप्युलेशन कशा पद्धतीने डिवाइड केलेली आहे, डिफरन्शिएट केलेली आहे, that is the population structure or age structure. The population structure is usually shown using a population pyramid. म्हणजे आपण तुम्हाला लक्षात असेल की ज्यावेळी हे पॉप्युलेशन स्ट्रक्चर दाखवलं जातं तर पॉप्युलेशनचा जो काही पिरामिड आहे तर त्याचं कंपॅरिझन केलं जातं. अ पॉप्युलेशन pyramid can be drawn up for any area from a whole continent or country to an individual town, city or village. म्हणजे पॉप्युलेशन पिरामिड हा जो आहे तर पॉप्युलेशन पिरामिड हा एखाद्या कॉन्टिनेंटचा असू शकतो, एखाद्या कंट्रीचा असू शकतो, इंडिव्हिज्युअल एखाद्या शहराचा असू शकतो, गावाचा असू शकतो, किंवा दोन म्हणजे डिफरन्स असू शकतो. सो दिस इज द पॉप्युलेशन पिरामिड. दिस इज द पॉप्युलेशन पिरामिड ऑफ इंडिया. Here, both the female is indicate the pink shaded and blue shaded the male population. The population is in millions. These are the age group from 0 to 100 plus. This data is the 2016 data. It means the in that use the census 2011 2011च्या सेन्सेस नुसार, जनगणनेनुसार हा डाटा कलेक्ट केलेला आहे. सो यू हॅव टू नो दॅट हाऊ द एज ग्रुप इज डिस्क्राईब. म्हणजे ज्यावेळी आपण एज ग्रुप बघतो किंवा पॉप्युलेशन ही वाढलेली आहे का घटती आहे, तर यामध्ये तुम्हाला एक्स ऍक्सिस वर पॉप्युलेशन इन मिलियन्स दाखवलेला आहे साइड बाय साइड. त्याच्यामध्ये फिमेलचा जो रेट आहे, तर तो फिमेलचा रेट हा 0 to 58-59 इथपर्यंत आहे. आणि जो मेल पॉप्युलेशन आहे तर तो फर्स्ट जो आहे तो 65च्या जवळ म्हणजे 63 आहे. म्हणजे याच्यावरून आपल्याला दिसून येतं की 2011च्या जनगणनेनुसार जो काही रेट आहे तर तो मेलचा फिमेलच्या तुलनेत जास्त होता. So the population composition is the description of the population according to characteristics such as composition of population by sex, composition of population by age, composition of population by caste, composition of population by language and religion. म्हणजे ज्यावेळी आपण पॉप्युलेशन कन्सिडर करतो किंवा कंपोजिशन ऑफ पॉप्युलेशन करतो, तर त्यावेळी लिंग असेल, वय असेल, कास्ट असेल, लँग्वेज असेल किंवा रिलिजन असेल, तर त्याच्यानुसार आपल्याला वेगळं वेगळं डिफरन्शिएट किंवा त्या पॉप्युलेशनचे कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स बघावे लागतात. सो द पॉप्युलेशन सेक्स कंपोजिशन, लिंगावरून जे काही आपण पॉप्युलेशन काउंट करतो त्याचा हा रेशिओ आहे. द सेक्स कंपोजिशन or sex ratio, it is the ratio between the number of women and men in the population, that is the sex composition or sex rate. India 940 females per 1000 male. भारताचा जर विचार केला 2011च्या जनगणनेनुसार तर 1000 पुरुषांच्या पाठीमागे 940 स्त्रिया इतका हा रेट आहे. द वर्ल्ड average is 102 male per 100 female. पर 100 फिमेल म्हणजे वर्ल्डचा पण विचार केला तरी सुद्धा मेलचं पॉप्युलेशन हे जास्त आहे. द रिजन वेअर द जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इज rampant, sex ratio is the unfavorable for the woman in such areas: female feticide, female infanticide and the domestic violence prevalence. म्हणजे आपण जनरली पण विचार केला जातो गेलेला आहे की ज्या देशामध्ये फिमेल फेटिसाइड असेल किंवा मग डोमेस्टिक व्हायलन्स वगैरे असेल, डोमेस्टिक घरगुती काही हिंसाचार वगैरे असतील, तर तिथले फिमेलचे रेट हे कमी आहे. सो द डिफरन्स countries using the difference method to calculate the sex ratio. Here the countries worst 5, the worst 5 of India: Gujarat, the ratio 2011 to 13 or 14 to 16. Gujarat 911, and then it is 848. Rajasthan 893, 857. म्हणजे हे जे राज्य आहे तर या राज्यामध्ये अगोदर जे प्रमाण होतं लिंग गुणोत्तराचं प्रमाण हे जास्त होतं, पण कालांतराने ते कमी झालेलं आहे. तर त्याच्या मागचे अनेक कारण आपण मागच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये पाहिलेले आहेत की डोमेस्टिक व्हायलन्स असू शकतं किंवा अजून काही. सो दिस इज द age structure. The age structure shows the number of male and female in the different age group. A good way to determine how many people at what age group live in an area is to use an age pyramid which measure the age structure. It is one of the important indicator of population composition. म्हणजे age structure हे एक मेजर आहे जे की पॉप्युलेशन कंपोजिशनचं. सो द कंपोजिशन ऑफ पॉप्युलेशन बाय कास्ट. हियर वन मिस्टेक इज देअर, केस इज देअर, कास्ट. सो इंडिया इज अ कंट्री ऑफ multilingual, multi-religious and multi-ethnic society. जे आपण म्हणतो की इंडियामध्ये खूप जास्त भाषा बोलल्या जातात, खूप जास्त धर्म इथे वास्तव्य करतात, तर त्यानुसार आपल्या इथे जे काही पॉप्युलेशन मेजरमेंट आहे तर ते कास्ट नुसार सुद्धा होतं. ब्रेकअप द कास्ट इन इंडिया, द sections mentioned in the pie chart, that is generally here 32% of OBC caste, SC caste for 16.2%, ST is 8.2%, Muslims 13.4%, and rest of all the caste having 30.2%. This is the scenario of the population regarding the caste. So the composition of population by language. The people who having the multilingual in Indian language. So this is the distribution of the language side of population. 41% of the population is speaking Hindi language. That is the population of particular Hindi lingual or language people is 41. Bengali 8%, Telugu 7%, then Marathi 7%, then Tamil 6%, Gujarati 5%, and another Kannada is 4%, Malayalam 3%, and rest other language are 19%. So we can see that the most lingual people at the रेट ऑफ पॉप्युलेशन इज हिंदी. म्हणजे हिंदी बोलणारे जे लोक आहेत तर ते भारतामध्ये जास्त आहेत. सो द कंपोजिशन ऑफ द पॉप्युलेशन बाय रिलिजन. द मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पॉप्युलेशन इन इंडिया इज हिंदू, विच इज फॉलोड बाय मुस्लिम, ख्रिश्चन, जैन. म्हणजे मेजॉरिटी जी काही पॉप्युलेशन आहे तर ती जास्त आपल्या भारतामध्ये हिंदू आहे, नंतर मुस्लिम आहे, थर्ड ख्रिश्चन आहे आणि लास्ट जैन आहे. So change land. So this is the rural population and urban population. The color black is indicate the 2001 population, and the another sky color is indicate 2011 population. Percentage मध्ये अर्बन आणि रुरल जे काही पॉप्युलेशन आहे तर ते दाखवलेलं आहे. जर आपण 2001 चा विचार केला तर हिंदू जे आहे तर 82.30 होती 2001 मध्ये. त्याच्यानंतर 2011 मध्ये 82.5 झाले. आपण रुरल बघतोय. मुस्लिम 11.96 होते 2001 मध्ये आणि 2011 मध्ये 12.41 झाले. अदर्सचा विचार केला तर 5.71 होते तर ते 5.54 झाले. देन अर्बन जर क्रायटेरिया बघितला आपण तर अर्बन जे आहे तर हिंदू अर्बन हे 75.60 होते. देन इट इन 2011 दॅट इज 74.82. मुस्लिम urban area 17.26 and 2011 that is 18.23 and others are 7.40 and now that is 6.95. This source is Census of India 2011. So these are some age group, age structure of the population. जर आपण पॉप्युलेशन किंवा एज ग्रुप स्ट्रक्चर वर विचार केला तर याच्यावर तुम्हाला क्वेश्चन जे विचारले जात आहे तर एज स्ट्रक्चर विचारलं जातं. बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ एज स्ट्रक्चर. त्याच्यानंतर जे काही सेक्स रेशो आहे तर तो इंडियाचा काय आहे किंवा फिमेल किती मेल किती अशा पद्धतीने, किंवा त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला पर्सेंटेज विचारलं जातं किंवा अजून एक दोन असे कारणे दिले जातात की व्हाय द सेक्स रेशो ऑफ इंडिया इज मेल सेक्स रेशो इज हाय अँड फिमेल सेक्स रेशो इज लो. देन व्हॉट इज द causes and what is the reason of it, etc. So in this lecture we have seen all types of rates of concept and measures of fertility, morbidity and mortality and the age structure of India. So the next lecture we have discussed the life table and the migration. What is meant by the migration? What is the types of migration, etc. How the migration rate is there? What is the demographic dividend? So we will stop for a day.